Once upon a time. How many times have you heard that? Well, once upon a time, there was an elephant and a turtle, a little baby elephant and a baby turtle who were enjoying a drink down by the river. All of a sudden, for no reason, the little baby turtle just reached over and bit the elephant's tail really hard. Fast forward many years. That same elephant, now all grown up, is down by that same river enjoying a drink with his buddy, the giraffe. And as they were enjoying themselves, along comes that very same turtle, all grown up. The elephant took one look, reared back his leg, and kicked that turtle out into the forest. The giraffe just looked at him and said, "Whoa, buddy, why did you do that?" And the elephant said, "Let me tell you, way back when we were babies, that turtle bit me really hard for no reason." "Wow," said the giraffe, "you have a great memory." "That's right," said the elephant. "I have turtle recall." Well, I want you to have turtle recall this morning, but from a different perspective. I want to invite you to have turtle recall of your divinity. Never forget you are worthy, you are divine. And to that end, I've created a little theme called Turtle Theology. Turtle Theology. And in commemoration of Turtle Theology, we've actually concocted this great recipe for you for turtle theology soup. Now, before I go any further, I want to make a disclaimer. No turtles were injured in the making of this talk. I promise. So, let me tell you about this great recipe because this is a recipe that can help you truly master the art of living and grow from a spiritual perspective. Because I really believe we can learn a lot from our friend the turtle. We can take a lot of things from him and apply it to ourselves. Now, the cool thing about this turtle theology soup, it only has 4 ingredients. And if you look at the 4 ingredients and take the first letter of each ingredient, it will spell the word soup, S-O-U-P. So you'll be able to quickly remember and apply, or should I say, partake of this incredible recipe. So let's dive in and take a peek at it. The first recipe ingredient is S, and that ingredient is stick out your neck. Think about the turtle. The turtle never gets anywhere until he's willing to stick out his neck. Well, I believe the same thing is true for us from a spiritual perspective. We can never grow to the height of our true spiritual enrichment, our true spiritual growth, unless we are willing to stick our neck out. And what I mean by that is be willing to stretch. Be willing to question those unquestioned answers. You've heard Bill and I talk about that a lot. We believe that we need to move beyond that embedded theology that may have held us back, to move beyond the things that make us feel just a little bit uncomfortable. Be willing to meta-spiritually interpret the scripture instead of reading it literally. Be willing to look at my relationship with God and what does God stand for? And we've actually come to a decision that God represents an acronym of global, omnipresent divinity. That's a stretch, but wow, it takes you to a whole new place in your spiritual perspective. Be willing to say yes and volunteer for sacred service. That can feel uncomfortable, but again, it stretches you. It moves you to a whole new place in your spirituality. Here's another one. Be willing to use the affirmative prayer process, not just for yourself, but be willing to pray with others. Yeah, out loud. And you'll be amazed at how that strengthens your own prayer life. So take a look at yourself and ask yourself, where am I willing to stick my neck out? Just a little. I only have to be willing to stick my neck out and take that one next step, and then I'll be ready to move on. Stick your neck out. Now, the second ingredient, which is the one that starts with O, is outwit the gremlins. Outwit the gremlins. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, gremlins are those people who want to deny your divinity, people who want to make you feel small or chip away at your confidence, challenge your dreams, and erode your enthusiasm for living. They're the ones who bring all the negativity into the picture. When you run into people like that, I got a piece of advice for you. Don't walk away from those gremlins. Run. And there's something we can learn from the turtle right here also. Did you know that a turtle's shell actually serves as a shield to protect that turtle from its predators? Well, we can do exactly the same thing. We can shield ourselves, because I am a realist here. I know that we can't always, in truth, actually be totally separated from those gremlins in our life. I mean, they may be family members, or they may be people we work with, people that we have no choice, we have to be around. So instead of running away from them, which we can't always do in reality, we can be like the turtle. We can create that shield, that psychological shell that will protect us from our predators. And psychology actually has a technique for this. It's called psychological energy shielding. We call it the white light technique. And it simply means you visualize this beautiful shield of white light absolutely surrounding you. And it's invisible to everybody else, but it is literally a shield that will not allow any of that negative energy to penetrate. And when you get really good at this, you can literally transform any energy almost alchemically from within and send it back out as positive, powerful, divine energy. But wherever you are in your ability to do that, everybody can use the psychological shielding technique of simply visualizing white light before you are around these gremlins in your life. So we're going to stick out our neck, and we are going to outwit those gremlins. And that brings us to the third ingredient, which starts with the U. You're going to love this one. Unitize your speaking. Wow, what do I mean by that? Well, unitize your speaking means a willingness to change your languaging. Be willing to make your words match your beliefs. Now, if I had $1 for every time somebody said to me, oh, doesn't matter what I say, I know what I mean, I would be a very rich woman. But here's my question to you. If you know what you mean, why not strengthen the power of it by finding the words to articulate it the same way? Let me give you a few examples. A lot of people use that wonderful phrase, fake it till you make it. And I understand what's behind that phrase, but what we prefer to say is faith it till you make it. Faith it till you make it. In other words, stand on the principles, live in my truths, use my tools to do what I know I will eventually be able to do or be. And so I'm faithing it. I'm not faking it. I'm not faking it. A couple of other examples. It is what it is. No, it's not. It is what I make it. And to that end, oh, it's all divine order. I could do a whole talk just on that phrase. How about shifting it just a little to say, I am divinely ordering this. I am divinely ordering it because I am that point of power. I behold the Christ as you. Let's just go a little deeper. I behold the Christ as you. And I know that I just said that wrong because I'm so used to saying, I behold the Christ as you. But so often we say, I behold the Christ in you. And so the deeper way to go is, I behold the Christ as you. Which, that example brings me to another point. It has to be perfect. Well, you know what? Nothing has to be perfect. Perfection will kill your spirituality. Be willing to make a mistake, own it, and move right on. So, hey, how about stick out your neck? We're going to do that for sure. We're going to outwit the gremlins. Yes, we are going to unitize our speaking so that our words express our beliefs and are totally aligned. And anything that doesn't match out, it's gone. It's out of here. That brings me to the fourth and final ingredient in this very simple recipe for turtle theology soup. The last ingredient, probably most important, pray without ceasing. Pray without ceasing. Now, a couple of caveats to this one. Pray, meaning the affirmative prayer process that unity teaches us. Pray from an affirmative point of view, of an affirmative place in your heart. But I most love unity's concept of prayer. Every thought a prayer. When we live from that perspective, we can live our life from a place of faith, confidence, and knowing. And when you pray from an affirmative point of view, if you're not sure what to say, it doesn't matter. Start with two powerful words. I'm grateful. Think about that. I'm grateful. When we start a prayer with those two words, I'm grateful, or if you're praying with others, we're grateful. What you're doing is grounding your prayer in gratitude, in knowing that you are in the presence. In fact, you are the presence of the allness of global omnipresent divinity. You are that field of infinite potential. You are all presence, all substance, always accessible to any divine idea you need, any spiritual tool you need to grow, move through the experience, and be the truth of who you are. So there you have it. You have this very simple recipe for turtle theology soup. Turtle theology soup from the kitchen of Chef Reverend Cher. As you partake of this amazing recipe, you know what? You're going to recognize a couple of other similarities to our friend the turtle. First of all, do you know that a turtle can never be separated from its shell? Absolutely impossible, because the shell is part of the rib cage. Now, two things we want to learn from this. There's no danger that that turtle is ever going to outgrow its shell. Now, sometimes it may look like it. If you study turtles at all, you'll see sometimes that their shell seems to be disintegrating a bit. But what is really happening is the shell is growing, and it's discarding anything that it doesn't need any longer to replace it with the new. We can do that too. We can constantly be discarding any pieces that no longer fit, any beliefs we have that no longer apply, as we continue to grow in our spiritual awareness. And because that turtle's shell is part of its rib cage and it's never separated, it always carries it with them. We are the same way. We can never be homeless because we carry our home with us. We are that field of infinite potential. We are the oneness. And when we remember that, we know that we always have access to that spiritual headquarters, that wonderful place we call home. As I think about that, I realize that when we truly practice turtle theology, we are masters in the art of living. And that reminds me of a wonderful quote from James Michener. And I'd like to leave you with this thought. James Michener actually defined what he called masters in the art of living. And to me, he sets a benchmark with that quote that we can measure ourselves against. So see how you measure up as you think about his words. He says, masters in the art of living draw no distinction between their work and their play, between their labor and their leisure, between their education and their recreation, their love and their religion. They can hardly tell which is which. They simply pursue their vision of excellence in everything they are doing. And they leave it to others to decide whether they are working or playing, because to them, they are always doing both. I affirm that you truly are masters in the art of living. And I affirm that as you make turtle theology part of your daily diet, by sticking your neck out, outwitting those gremlins, unitizing your speaking, and praying without ceasing, you truly become a master in the art of living in this skin school that we're all part of. And as a result, you are able to truly walk the spiritual path on positive, prosperous, practical feet. Namaste and bon appetit.